Howdy, everybody. It is Retro Repair Roundup, episode number 20. Tonight, we have our special guest, Uncle Mike of Uncle Mike's Retro. Our hosts are this weird dude here who's in a weird mental state and may say wacky things today, so I apologize in advance, Joe Stroh-Snyder. We've got Javier, Rudy, Sean, and Ron. Before we get started tonight, the silly little housekeeping things, remember to lasso that like button if you like our stream tonight. And if you're not subscribed, hit the subscribe button. What are you even doing? Do it. Just do it. Okay, I'm done with the intros. Take it over.
Joe, where's your hat?
Oh, crap. I tell you what, I'm firing on like 4 out of 8 cylinders, Nate. My brain has been a mess all day long.
Nobody tells the new guy about the hats.
Yeah, my hat is.
You can blame me. I'm the one who did the invites and all the prep work. It's all me.
Oh no, and I'm the one that needs a hat.
It's all good.
That's all good.
Ron.
That's it. The Fez.
Last minute notice. Sorry, guys.
I like it.
Actually, it went camping this weekend, and I wore my hat most of the weekend. It's out in the car because it smells like a campfire.
Ugh.
So I just figured that it would be for everyone's benefit to not bring it in the house.
With the campfire?
Both the hat and the campfire.
Yes.
So my real question is this: it's October. Why do you guys not have whimsical names down here at the bottom of your thing?
I have the pumpkin tosh running. What more do you want?
Well, I mean, like I said, whimsical name.
Well, screw whimsical names or something. I don't.
Well,
know.
hold on. I'm going to pitch some like a great name for you. So, you've got, because I've already got Computer covered. So maybe Joe's Computer Mausoleum.
No,
Maybe
or
that's
crypt.
one.
No.
No, it's got to be a play like on your actual thing.
You see
So,
how quick
so
I
Uncle
am.
Mike's Retro would be like Uncle Mike's Rigor Mortis.
Uncle Mike's
Ooh.
Necro.
Ooh.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, that's good too.
All
Like
right.
it.
Whew. I'm in.
Yeah. So I like whimsical things. So do better next week, guys.
Better. Be better.
Do better. Be better.
Oh man.
So, hey, how's everybody doing? What's
Good.
Surely we have a script for this, right?
Hunky dory.
Surely we have a script.
In theory, we do, but like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Because Joe did some introduction. Javier. See you later, Sean.
Oh.
Okay. Boo. Gone, Sean. So doing good. You know, I'm a Refa boy, so I got my Refas here next to me.
Nice.
I just
Welcome
made
back, Sean.
Welcome back.
Thanks. That was weird.
Rudy.
Rudy's hungover.
Hello.
Who are you? What do you do?
I don't know. Who am I? Who are you?
Can you not see the script?
No.
We're 20 episodes in, guys. We should know how this works.
Cool. I'm Rudy from Rudy's Retro Intel. And today, hungover. No. A little bit.
Which weird Canadian holiday was it? Is it like Justin Trudeau's birthday?
I
Like,
don't
how
know.
does it work?
It's a new holiday. This is the first year's truth and identity and I don't know, propaganda or whatever. It's to recognize the indigenous Indian people in Canada.
That's good.
And I don't know much more about that.
Mm.
I'm not a politician.
Fair enough. I'm from the United States, where we have a squeaky clean history. No genocide.
No.
100%. Everything's
Well,
cool. On cooler topics, though, I'm Ron from Ron's Computer Videos. And since we changed positions,
Should I go next?
no.
The guest goes last. I remember now.
Yep. Mr. Fahey.
Hey guys, Sean Fahey. Ta-da!
Ta-da!
I think we're all like, where the hell are all we meant
I
to?
don't know.
Ron is the only one who's 100% right now.
You know what? And it's because I drank some caffeine and had like I don't know, like butter chicken or something for dinner. I'm just feeling really energized.
Good.
It's all
Nice.
that rice. It just
So
mm,
nice.
So Uncle Mike, it's normally not this terrible.
Yep.
Oh,
So-
I've been in worse. This is fun. You guys are extraordinary.
So Uncle Mike, would you please tell us who you are? Mr. Guest, would you enter and sign in, please?
Well, I'm Uncle Mike, and I am an uncle, and my name is Mike. And I have a fairly new YouTube channel where I specialize in what I like to call salvage yard finds. And that's my shtick, and I'm sticking to it. Thank you, Ron.
So, Mike, I have a question for you. So you do salvage. What was it called? Salvage block finds?
Salvage yard finds, I
Yard
call
find.
them.
So do you ever find like a 46 with a big block Chevy in it?
I'm telling you what, the main purpose of the scrapyard I go to is not e-waste. It is automobile parts. And they're there. Believe me, they're there. I have not found them myself, but they're there.
Cool.
While we're asking funny questions, do you ever bump into, say, Robert Llewellyn or any of the other former hosts from Scrapyard Challenge while you're out there? Not a real question.
No,
Just-
not a real question. Strangely enough, no. Nobody approaches me when I'm sitting on my bucket. I do have a bucket that I sit on. That's my thing.
I
With
think
your
if
name?
you had your pants up, that would invite more people, because it needs a very special kind of person that's going to come over and really just address you mid growl.
Approach a 50 something guy sitting on a bucket in a scrapyard. That's
You know
a
what?
picture.
People's
the
lives
bucket's
have
turned
been
around.
worse.
We're
Well,
hoping
it's
the
my
bucket
let's
is
do it
the
bucket.
right way around.
No, I'm actually sitting on the closed end of the bucket.
Oh,
You're right.
okay.
Oh,
Yeah, you
yes.
never know. Like
It's not ambiguous. It's not ambiguous.
it'd be a stinky situation.
Stinky
yes.
situation.
Oh, that's awful. Hey,
That's-
you know what we should do? We should probably stop horsing around and
We should.
give you a good. We're almost 10 minutes in here, and it's my rule is if in the first 10 minutes if you can't like get to whatever the thing is, you wait another 10 minutes. But
Just 10
do
more
we
minutes.
do we want to start with some questions for Uncle Mike?
Let's
Let's
do it.
See,
Yep.
okay. Well, how did
away.
you come up with the name Uncle Mike? Because is it like Uncle Grandpa, where you're like simultaneously everybody's uncle? But yeah, there's an animated show. It's called Uncle Grandpa. But where he's simultaneously everybody's uncle and grandpa.
I'll give
So-
you the real answer, and this is where my real life impinges on my YouTube life. So I do manage a group of gentlemen. I'm a supervisor. I won't say who or what, but I supervise a group of men. We're white collar guys, and they're all younger than me. I am the old man and in charge. And one day, one of them said, he goes, you're like an uncle to us. You're like always telling us what we should or shouldn't do. You're like our Uncle Mike. And that just stuck. So that kind of became my moniker in real life and in my fantasy life on YouTube was
Mhm.
Uncle Mike.
Like
Plus,
you-
my brother
you-
has a 4-year-old. So I have that
That's
also.
cool.
Yeah.
Mike, how did you get started? Okay, well, we should probably get something out of the way. In the pre-show, we kind of talked about this, about how that it's in the old days, everybody would kind of call it dumpster diving, and I think that's maybe it's sort of like when Trekkie, like it was like we prefer Trekker kind of thing, but it's technology recovery is kind of, or you had another term for it. What was that?
Well, I called it dumpster diving. I'm brutally honest.
We are
when
trying
it
to
comes
church this
life.
up, sir.
I know. I'm sorry, but this isn't rated for children. This is serious business, and this is dumpster diving.
I
And
think this is cutting into our daytime Emmy
I'll tell you why.
chances.
I'll tell you why you need to be brutally honest, because I'm a retro channel, and retro channel is about retro things, and dumpster diving is the retro term. But if you want to call it waste recovery,
Yeah.
I've always
e-waste.
been a collector of old. Oh, Rudy, sorry.
You said waste. I said e-waste.
Yes,
Yeah, you have to be
e-waste.
specific.
I don't think we do waste recovery. I don't think anybody here does waste recovery.
Well, I don't
So
know.
e-waste.
Some of
E-waste,
these
okay.
guys that Mike supervises might have been, it's in e-waste for like a long time. Now I got to hang out here with Mike,
I've been dumpster diving for 2 years now. but I've been a collector of old things because I am an old thing. I've tried to hold on to as many of my collectibles as I have over the years. Um, and as far as actually looking in my, I call it, it's been called Narnia by some of my subs, some of my subscribers and friends online. The Magical Kingdom, Heaven on Earth, the Magical Scrapyard, where I can reap thousands of dollars of e-waste items. A little over 2 years now, Ron. A little over 2
That's
years.
really cool.
Yeah.
Well, I've been watching the channel for a while, and you were actually the person that got me interested in doing shorts, because when YouTube kind of first launched all that, you were really, really very diligent about like every day or every other day. I don't know what your plan was, but there was like a 2-month block where every day you had like a short that you posted about some item you found or some like kind of like retro, kind of more PC oriented,
Yes.
but like a tip or a trick or whatever.
Mhm.
So that's kind of how I got introduced to your channel a while back. And then I know now you've kind of shifted more into this tech recovery, e-waste recovery sort of angle. And I love watching those videos, just like the find videos, much of the same way
Nice.
that I know that a lot of people, well, me, will watch those videos where people are like, it's like, yeah, I got like a mess of circuit boards and there's not a lot to them, but if I can go through and I can reclaim components, or if I can
Yes.
do things like that with the worldwide tech component shortage, at least we can recover some of these things. Because I watch videos where people will have like, oh, it's like a Mac 2 motherboard, but it's like it's battery bombed, like all to get out. And they will just go through and hot air and remove all the chips, where it's like, okay, well, these swims, they're currently, or these PALs or something like that are currently not reverse engineered. And so we've got parts that we could send out and we get more people on the case, delitting and figuring those things out. So, and that's kind of through those channels is how I found your stuff too. So.
Well, those are kind words. And I'm going to be honest with you. When I first started, I had to do long format because there was no such thing as YouTube Shorts. And then all of a sudden, YouTube sent me a message one day when I was like 115 subs. And they said, hey, you can do shorts.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, okay, I got a motherboard here. And I did a 40-second short. And I woke up the next day and I had over 1,000 views on that short. And I gained 20 subs overnight. And I said,
it probably didn't hurt that you called it Kim Kardashian shorts.
Kim Kardashian's.
And
no, I forgot the apostrophe.
You might have drawn in a different audience, but you might have got some converts. So
yeah, that could have been it. And not everybody likes the shorts. It's not TikTok, friends. It's YouTube Shorts. We're a little more sophisticated than TikTok. I'm not going to have you sucking cinnamon powder or anything. I'm going to show you what I've got and what I've found. And exactly. And you'd be surprised. It gets a good response sometimes. Look what I started. I'm so ashamed of myself.
That's so crazy.
And then I've gone on since then. So.
Yeah, so I enjoy the channel, and hopefully we'll get some new converts and stuff, like people that maybe haven't seen what you've been doing. But what are I know because I watched the dang channel, but what are some of the amazing things that you've kind of find? I'm going to preface, asterisk amazing if you're really into kind of 90s kind of like computer stuff,
early 2000s.
Yeah.
So as far as amazing things I found, I mean, it's all computer stuff. Have I found anything that's like been seriously collectible or worth serious money? I'll be honest and say no. But I've literally found the computers I wish I could have afforded when I was younger and had $5,000 or $6,000 to spend. Okay. I've pulled computers whole, intact, working out of the dumpster, set them down, plugged them in, and I've had somebody just left us. Right. I've had computers that MSRP'd for over $6,000 thrown in my car for $5. And I thought I was giving them too much money. So how's that for an answer? I mean, it's the truth, and it's shameful. And later on, maybe I'll share some of the comments I've gotten from around the world, because I think my biggest set of subscribers besides the US is Russia and India, to be honest with you.
Oh wow!
because they love
Cool.
e-waste in India.
I was going to say that
Yeah.
seems like some of the places where a lot of these items ended up. So, do you think that maybe some of the people watching your channel are looking for tips and tricks on maybe what some valuable things are that they can be looking for in their own kind of e-waste situations?
The biggest question is, Uncle Mike, can you ship this to India for me? And I'm like, no, I can't ship anything to India for you because it would cost
Tell
more
them
than it
to
would have
meet them
cost
halfway,
originally.
ship it to Indiana.
I mean, we could probably send it to Southern Italy and just call it a day. But
Mhm.
the biggest questions I get is, where do you find this? And I can't believe so much is thrown out. Over here, that would be something that I would buy in a store still.
Yeah.
Especially some of the late Core 2s and early Pentium or early
Mhm.
Core I systems.
Yeah.
Yeah, honestly. You know, but as far as amazing, I wish to heck I had a truly amazing thing. It's a lot of the same old, same old. I have yet to find a Voodoo 3 or higher video card, something truly desirable in the dumpster.
Yeah.
I'll be honest there.
I could swear though, I saw a video recently that you'd posted where you'd found like some older Sound Blaster cards and stuff like that. And I know that people are absolutely I don't think it was like an ad lib or something, but I think it was like some sort of, from memory, it was some sort of Sound Blaster card. It was one of those like multi-CD interfaces. So it would have been kind of old, like, you know, like a 2.0 or something like that. So I know people love some of those kind of retro cards and stuff. And
Yep.
so it is kind of neat just to see what's come through and escape the crusher, you know.
No, truly. And then the question is, well, what do you do with them? Well, I put them on a shelf and keep the dust off them. Because you can only use so many of these parts at a time. I don't sell my e-waste. I don't eBay them. I could. I sit on things. I'm a hoarder, and I'm ashamed, but I am.
It's okay. After this, it's those signed Yamaha 16-bit sound cards. Those are just going to go out the door, collector's items.
You know, and you don't know what's going to be a collector item in the next 10 years. I mean, we're on the cusp of, I would say, and I don't know if we're getting off track because most of you guys are Mac guys, but in the PC world, the Intel Core chips aren't retro yet, in my opinion. I'd say I don't even think Pentium 4 is really acceptable as a true retro type yet. But you give it 10 years, and I mean, as time goes on. But then again, the longer we go, the more things that I had that worked just randomly stop working. So it's really difficult with this old equipment. I don't have to tell you fellas that, you know, not at all.
I love PC stuff as much as I love Mac stuff, but there's it's hard to break into that PC YouTube game because there's 400 million people doing it. And so, I mean, I get it. And I certainly like, there's a lot like Phil's Computer Lab.
Phil,
is that? Yep. Yeah, I watched Hey Guys. It's, you know, I've watched like every one of those darn
the most
videos.
famous German who lives in Australia.
Exactly.
Rudy,
that's a cool board. XT.
It's actually an IBM XT clone motherboard that I use with my first computer. Well, my first PC computer. So I still have the board.
Is that extra slot for Mathco?
Yes.
That's cool. Or dip socket, rather. Sorry.
Nice.
That's pretty cool. I love that stuff, but it's tough to break in. Sorry,
yeah, it's hard to break into, but I agree with Ron too. There's a lot of channels with that, and even finding parts for this, it's I don't know. I think it's a little bit more difficult to find PC stuff as opposed to like 8-bit stuff like the Apple Commodore, PET, Atari, TI-99s, all that.
Really?
I think that's because they destroy it more, isn't it?
Yeah.
No, I believe you. I would have always thought that the PC stuff is a dime a dozen. You can get it, everyone's got it, but the problem is nobody's taking care of it the way they are the equipment that you fellas like.
You're right. Yeah.
You know, when you buy something on eBay, you pretty much know it's going to work when it's an Apple part, right?
Yep.
This PC stuff, forget about it.
Yeah, you don't know.
You got to bid on 100 things to get one that comes in working. And thank God that eBay will automatically refund you, and the seller never wants it back if it's not working.
Yeah.
So there is that.
Yeah.
But I would have thought the PC stuff was a lot easier to get. And I have bought only one thing off of eBay since I've done the dumpster diving, and that was just a mobile Core i5 chip to upgrade the laptop that I found in a dumpster that I did keep that is actually quite usable. So there are some benefits to this. Truly.
Yeah. But I think Javier, you said it best that a lot of the PC stuff is recycled.
Yeah, unfortunately, yeah.
More than I
It's-
guess. I don't know. Maybe because it's so like if you're looking stuff from the 80s and early 90s, maybe
Yeah.
not so much. But anything newer than that,
Mm-hmm.
people don't. Do you want an i3 processor? No. Okay, scrap that board. Do you want a Celeron NAS? Scrap it. Like no one thinks it's like you mentioned before. No one thinks it's collectible or
Collectible, yeah.
vintage or whatever. So they just like I've been looking for cards to get my IBM XT up and running again, and it's not easy. And then you find stuff, and someone says, "Oh, I have an MFM controller for your machine, but it's $6,000 because it's rare." It's like what?
Mhm.
So unless you know someone, or like yourself, where you can go somewhere to find parts
Right.
and end up finding things, it's like forget eBay or even other sites like Craigslist or Kijiji or whatever. Then people think, it's old. Okay, it's worth billions of dollars. It's like okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Rudy, I know what I've got. Do not lowball me.
Ron, I know where you live, but I don't go outside, so you're
Just,
okay.
I was gonna say, just swing by. You can just pick it up. But
You know-
in the chat, sorry, let me find the comment here. JVHS said that pinning forward 32-bit stopped being a thing that was mainstream, almost 17 years ago.
Mhm.
So I think that a lot of people that are out there that are going to build their ultimate Windows XP rig or something like that would probably still be in the market to try to find those chips just for the best compatibility. And I'd agree with what you said about how like Pentium 4 stuff really hasn't caught on just yet with kind of the collector market. Except the only exception to that seems to be those extreme versions or like whatever it'll be. It'll be like Core 2 Duo or Core 2 Quad. It'll be everything is cheap right up to the very last chip of that series. And I don't know if that is just because people really like care about that little fraction of a thing, or if it is the collector's market that's kind of driving the price up on some of those.
Mhm.
But I went through and I built like a P4 that was like Core 2, or I'm sorry, like a socket 478, so like a P4. I also built like a Core 2 Quad, Core 2 Duo. I built like one of all of those things, and it just exactly, and it just seemed like you could only get up to almost the top, and you couldn't get past that.
Well, so let's talk about desirability and what is or isn't retro in the PC world, because Pentium 4, the original Pentium 4s, the 478s with the pins, right? Not the 775s, okay, with AGP slots. Now you're talking desirable retro.
Yeah.
Now you start getting to the later 478s, 478s and the 775s that have PCIe undesirable. There is a fine line in what's desired, and it's called AGP. And if you've got an AGP slot, you've got a desirable motherboard and you've got a desirable chip in there. But you're right, there is a line that's crossed, and it's crossed right around the higher speed. The high-end 478s is where you cross that line, and it's not really, I mean, so I think you guys are going to, let's jump to the next. Like, how do I separate trash from treasure? Here's trash from treasure. All the Dells go in the trash pile, and all the treasure goes in all the other piles.
What?
Because let me
you
tell
don't
you
have
something.
a huge Rambus collection?
If
Come
you-
on, man. Come on.
If if you're talking what's thrown out the most, it's Dells. It's Dell Inspirons. You can't shake a stick without hitting a Dell. A perfectly good, perfectly working Celeron D Dell sitting in the dumpster. mostly without an AGP slot because Dell bought those crappy OEM motherboards.
Yeah.
And that's what everyone's throwing out, and that's what nobody wants. Would it make a great sleeper system? Sure, but you can only have so many sleeper systems. So that's where the line's drawn as far as I'm concerned with the dumpster diving and what is or isn't collectible. So
I heard
opinions vary.
that Tesla's doing what NASA did back in the day of the shuttles. They're buying up all the Pentium 2s to put them into their new rockets.
Because that's what. Well, and aren't airlines? Some airlines are still upgrading the software in their jets with floppy disks.
Floppy disks,
Mhm.
yeah.
Was
I
that
read
not an article in Tech
Yep.
TechSpot the other day? You
Yep.
know,
Tim,
I mean,
Tim
yeah.
Cross in chat just asked, what about the socket 423 Pentium 4? So sort of like the early
even
P4s.
better.
Like
Tim,
what?
oh no, Tim. I'm sorry, Ron. Tim, you're absolutely correct. If you can get a hold of those, and those were the ones that were using the RAM bus memory back then. I think those were the Willamettes, I believe.
Mhm.
And yes, if you can get a working RAM bus motherboard with an AGP slot and one of the original P4s, which I think anybody that really knows the business knows, they actually ran slower than the high-end P3s at the time, but it was a new technology. That is pure collectible.
Yeah.
Pure collectible. In fact,
They're
if I
also
had one,
for, space heaters.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
So,
they
you know-
do get warm. They do get warm.
Mhm.
Not as much as those like Pentium 3, P4 3.4s with hyper threading.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Those get red hot. Those get red hot.
Mhm.
But if I had a motherboard with one of the 423s, I wouldn't have it installed in anything. I'd have it sitting aside in a plastic bag. Don't run it. Keep it, because you're not going to find another one. But yeah, that's an excellent question. That's a very good point to make, Tim.
Mhm.
Yep.
Yeah, I know a lot of that. Some of those boards, though, too, for repairability is really high just because they use a lot of through hole on those still, like
Yep.
on those Dells and stuff. Because I've cracked those open and every one of them, they're all bulged and
Yeah.
dying.
Well, there was a time, and I feel like I'm taking all the oxygen out of the room. You guys need to let me know if I am,
Well,
honestly.
we can all leave.
Okay, right. I mean, if you just want to have Uncle Mike up, I'm sure we'll get
It's the Uncle
mega
Mike
views.
hour.
It's the Uncle Mike show. Whoa, it's the Uncle Mike show. Oh, come back.
Oh,
Okay.
there's Joe working his
Speaking
Joe
of caps,
magic.
right? And by caps, I think everyone in the audience knows we're talking capacitors. Okay,
Mhm.
just regarding it down for a second. Back in the day, there was a motherboard manufacturer called ABIT. Everyone heard of ABIT, right?
Yep.
Okay. If you got a working ABIT motherboard that's anything less than a P4, I don't know if they ever made it to the P4s, to be honest with you. I think they did. If you have a working ABIT motherboard, especially anything slot 1 or socket A or socket 370, you've got a nice collector's item there because they were so popular based on the BIOS and the overclockability of those boards.
Mhm.
And just because everyone loves ABIT. And I'd say second in line is Asus.
Yeah.
As far as the motherboards. And Ron is right. You had the Capacitor Apocalypse back in the day.
Mhm.
Truly. And actually, and then after they stopped bulging, they just went bad without any exterior signs.
Yeah.
So, as far as recapping, though, I've never recapped anything. I just go in the dumpster and find another one.
Oh, yes. Well, you're very lucky then.
Oh, no. Now I have to refresh.
Well, that's it for this week, folks. Our guest just dumped out on us. Hey, he's back.
You're back.
For some reason, when somebody refreshes, it cuts my audio out. That's because Mike's on retro equipment. Let me tell you something. So when Joe invited me tonight, okay, that was this afternoon here in Wisconsin. And I'm like, okay, I'll just set up in my garage. This is my garage work area. I have a downstairs studio that I'm putting together. I'm like, oh, nuts. So I was going to use my my 4th gen Core i5, which is a quad core, and I set everything up, and I got the camera going, and I checked Task Manager, and I was pegged out on CPU usage. So I can't do this on a quad core. So I am on a hex core 8th gen Core i5 tonight, which is not my fastest system. But even Uncle Mike has some modern computers. But you can't stream on junk, right? I think we can all agree on that.
Oh,
I agree.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Mike, tell us about where you don't have to reveal the place where you go.
It's
But
called
why don't you?
Narnia.
Yeah, I get. Yeah, we'll have to Mr. Nesbitt or whatever that guy's name was.
C.S. Lewis. Oh,
Yeah, well, him too. But I was gonna say, if people are looking to try to find kind of the stuff like you feature on your channel, like
Yeah.
in their neck of the woods, what would they look in the Yellow Pages for? Where would they look online? Try to find kind of like recyclers or whatnot.
if you
People
want to
flying under the radar, because
Yeah.
there's always those folks that are just like, we crush everything into a fine green aggregate, and then there's other people that are more welcoming to collectors and stuff.
Well, and that's an excellent question. So it's really not an e-waste recycler place. I think you're going to get your best results at. I think what you're looking for is you're looking for an out of the way. You're looking for an out of the way, a backwoods type salvage yard that specializes in scrap metals and car parts, like I found. And you give them a call and you say, hey, do you take computers for free? I've got some Dells. Can I dump them there for free? And just be honest and ask, because in a lot of places, these are dumped for free because they can be scrapped for the base metals and they can be cubed. And the computers themselves are generally, compared to like CRT monitors, they can be landfilled fairly safely. They're not really using a lot of lead in those. They really weren't for many years.
Mhm.
And you just ask, hey, and then you show up and then you just ask and you say, hey, if people bring computers here, where do they put them? What do you do with them? Well, we throw them in a pile over here. Can I pick through that, bring in what I find, and we can talk about, charging me whatever you like for it? And I think you'd find the answer is more often than not, yeah, absolutely. Because if they cube it and landfill it, they're not making anything. I guarantee they're not piecing them out for the metals within. So any money they can make off them from you, it's bonus to them. So that's what I would recommend, honestly.
Yeah, I agree, because I know I've looked around here for e-waste companies, and you call them up and they say, no, you can't look at her stuff, you can't buy her stuff, because they want to pull out the gold and the copper and the silver and everything, because all that prices are going crazy. So they want all that stuff. They don't want you can drop it off for free, but you can't even go in it. Like, you can't even go in the building to look at what they have. But yeah, you make a very good point. Like a scrapyard would probably be a much more open place to say, yeah, sure, come on in. You pay them cash, and everyone's good, right?
Right. Now, there's some places that specialize in this. There's that place in Minnesota that recycles computers. Help me out. It's on the tip of my tongue. Free Geek. Been to Free Geek. They're very nice people, but all they're really selling to you is refurbed old Dells and HPs. That's really all you're going to get. New lease life on Core 2 and higher. I asked what happens when computers come in with rare video cards and whatnot. They walk out the door.
Mm-hmm.
They're not for sale. You're not going to find them. They disappear. That's what's finding its way on eBay. So there's no nirvana when it comes to that. You've got to go out and scrap for yourself. No one's going to do it for you. And even if they did, you're not getting it cheap. And it's a shame. Now, as far as apples, no one's asked me if I found any apples in my dumpster.
You find any apples?
Okay. I did find a dual core Power Mac.
Oh,
one of the silver towers, but it had already been stripped. So I actually didn't pull anything but some memory out of it. They took the video cards out. They took the CPUs. They took everything. So sometimes people get there ahead of me. And if you chuck a modern computer into that dumpster, it is stripped, but they're leaving me the pickings. So I get the bones and the sinew and the skin and the hair. And that's really all I'm at.
Well, it's so delicious when you put it that way. I just could there not be a better way to put it? I don't know.
We were asking Ron how the sausage was made, and now we know it's bone and sinew and hair.
I didn't say how hot dogs are made.
But that's what it's about, and that's what I do. So, and not for profit, just for fun.
Yeah, just for fun. You had also kind of like in the pre-show, we had talked about kind of the difference between like kind of the dumpster dive thing in the old days where it was like, oh, you'd go out behind the hospital, and in the pre kind of like days when people worried about like patient data, things like that,
Right.
they'd just like throw machines away. I a very long time ago, there was a hospital system that, because I was the manager of a micro age for many years. And the a manager, or I'm sorry, somebody at like a healthcare system reached out and said, hey, we got like all these compact portables and stuff, we just luggables really, that we need to get rid of, and we got all this other stuff, and you just make us an offer on all of it. And every last bit of it had some, I mean, there weren't people's social security numbers, but there was patient data. But this is in the era before you really had to, I guess, that these companies had policies on them. But we were also charged with scrubbing these things, and in those days it was like, okay, they had applications and stuff you could get where it was, you know, cross thatch and reformat and write zeros and then write ones, and then, you know, and back and forth across these 20 meg MFM drives, you know, so it didn't take real long to kind of scrub all that type of stuff. But have you came across any weird stuff that kind of in your travels where it was just like, oh wow, why did somebody leave this here?
Well, I'll tell you what I do when I find a hard drive. I don't put zeros on it. I don't triple write it. I don't use any of those fancy programs. I give it the hammer, the axe of death, if I even keep it.
Yeah.
When I was at Free Geek, they let me wipe the data off a couple of hard drives just for fun. I got to tour the whole place. I did a YouTube video on it.
Yeah.
They're very nice folks. They have they put the hard drive in it's like a little slot, and they have this big arm that they pull, and there's this big metal spike that goes right through the hard drive, and then they throw it. So that's how they do it. I've come across a lot of hard drives, and I usually just chuck them back in the dumpster. I disassemble on the spot. If you watch my shorts, you'll see me disassembling these computers on the spot. I think most of the hard drives that probably remain in these computers is mostly grandma's pictures of the grandkids and maybe their old telephone bills. I don't think that's really a thing anymore, Ron. Thank goodness people are smarter than that.
Yeah.
And it's nothing to take two screws out and get rid of a hard drive, you know, out of a laptop, because what's the old adage? You know, if your internet's down, call your grandkid, call your son, call your daughter, call their best friend, you know, and they're the IT support for most people. So that hasn't been too much of an issue, but yeah.
So people that are going out and kind of doing their own thing, how can they stay out of trouble when they are doing their own kind of tech recovery stuff? I'm guessing it's make sure to get permission from whomever you're, you know, if you're just like gorilla, you know.
Don't jump any fences, right? You know, it's ask permission, because when you're at these, well,
yeah,
you know, garage sales, let's not discount garage and rummage sales in flea markets. Okay. Let's not discount that, because I've got a project, I guess if we go for projects later that I'm working on here, that my wife's aunt got for me for $1 at a garage sale. And there's a lot of value to be had in garage sales and whatnot. And in those cases, the hard drive will still be in. You'd be doing everyone a favor to take it out. But always ask permission. Don't do it at night. You know, if it's not business hours, in the daylight, and you drive in your own car up to the front gate and the front desk, then you really shouldn't be doing what you're doing. I think the most successful people are the ones doing it above board. And that's the truth. You know, if you want to be an anarchist, then you shouldn't be collecting retro computer parts. I don't think. That's just me.
What do you think about surplus stores and things of that nature? We have one relatively near to me that will just get random stuff in there. Sometimes it's old computers, but sometimes it's like test equipment and like bulk black and white monitors and stuff like that. What do you think about that kind of situation?
You know, I've never delved into those because I don't have those around here. Now that's different, of course, than a pawn shop, because you're never going to get anything worth taking at a pawn shop. It's all going to be fairly modern equipment because nobody's going to give you a pawn on junk. The surplus stores, I don't have an opinion on that. I've never. The thing of it is you even mentioned like black and white monitors and things like that. I'll tell you, where I'm at, you have to pay to throw that stuff away by the pound. So
Right.
I am not big. I think every retro computer collector needs 2 CRT monitors at least, maybe 1 CGA or EGA and 1 VGA, and 1 CRT television, and that's it. I think if you've got more than that, then you've got more junk than you know what to do with.
I put a link in the comments there of the place that's near me, and they just have an absolute mix. They're a very specific electronic and electrical equipment surplus store. So just across the board weird stuff. You go in there, you find like ultrasound equipment, relays, capacitors that are the size of my head, mixes stuff. At the front, they have all the good stuff. They'll have refurbished Core 2 Duos and 14 or 19-inch LCD monitors and stuff like that. It's such a weird mix in that place.
Yeah. I mean, if you want a refurb Core 2 Duo, I'll pull one out of the dumpster for you for $1. And you don't even have to refurb it. That thing is working. This week, it's coming up this week on Uncle Mike Retro. We find 3 Dells, all of which I'm positive worked just fine, but all of which are just unwanted, unloved orphans without AGP slots.
So it's really the island of misfit toys, is what you're saying.
It is, and everyone everyone wants to be a dentist. Yes, I think it's Hermes and the island of unwanted toys. It's the island of unwanted Dells. I was going to do a video about. I don't know if you guys ever watch Tim and Eric's show. Great job.
Yeah,
they did this thing on the universe. The universe is so big, and I was going to do like, scientists have proved that there are more Dells in dumpsters than stars in the universe. And every time I go to the scrapyard, you would believe that there were more Dells in the universe than sand in the ocean. It would blow your mind. But
way cool. Do we want to talk about? Do we want to? Sorry, we lost Joe. Did anybody? We rebooted Joe. Great. Okay.
There is a comment. Justin in the comments says he's got 3 CRT TVs and 2 CRT monitors.
I'm not.
He's not apologizing. Justin, I've seen you before. No, you should not apologize. Don't apologize. But just remember, when you leave those for your kids in your will, they're going to have to pay to get rid of that stuff.
Yeah.
And don't put it on the curb with the sign that says free, okay? Because nothing is free when it's got a tube in it.
Yeah.
And yeah.
But Justin is that way. He's also got like a 500-gallon ultrasonic.
Oh yeah.
Too, so.
Yeah.
No, that's fair. No. I know Justin is bad
of that,
time.
So Mike,
Yeah.
so Uncle Mike, people say you're getting a Dell, dude.
You're getting a Dell.
You're getting a Dell, and you're getting a Dell, and you're getting a Dell.
Hey, you know what? I don't have a single Dell in my house, but I have a lot of Dell CPUs.
Dude, you got to get a Dell.
I should have one. So Packard Bells. Find the Packard Bell.
Yeah.
I know.
We took a turn for the worse.
The first computer I ever bought was a Tandy 286, right? That was when I graduated college. That's how old I am, all right? It was a Tandy 286 that I paid way too much for. I wish to God I had it right now. But the second one I ever bought was a Packard Bell 486. And I wish I had that one too. And Sean's got a point. Packard Bell is synonymous with crap. But you got to admit, they made some pretty cool looking systems back in the day, even if they use junk parts. You got to give them credit for that.
That 90s stuff is really great.
They put all the budget into the aesthetic.
Yeah. I mean, do you know what's coming back is shag carpeting and those weird looking chairs from the 60s and early 70s. Everything old, it will be new again. You watch. Yep. Yeah, we know RetroTech Chris loves him.
Yeah,
some
Chris is
Packard
cool.
Bells.
Yeah, I love some Packard Bells. I used to sell those. I worked for Ward's, and we sold like more of those than I would care to even think about.
Not in a ward, but
no
for
monkey wards.
Well, I mean, who remembers going through the Sears Christmas catalog?
Yeah,
the JCPenney Christmas catalog.
Yeah.
I mean, really, they stopped making that before real computers came out, but it's kind of the same thing. All that stuff that we wish we could have had.
Yeah.
We all want one or two of them sitting in the office or in our studio just cause, right? Just cause.
I mean, it's called the Sears Wish Book.
Yes.
Exactly.
So it's my problem is my parents, they kept that stuff too long. So it's like, Christmas 1988, and there's no way that I'm going to get like, the Mego Batcave and a green machine. It's just not going to happen. Yeah.
I used to get mine on Christmas Eve to look through.
Just last minute wishes.
Yeah.
The only reason I'm not really big
What's that,
on,
Sean?
The only reason I'm not big on Packard Bells is I used to repair them.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, what was the biggest issue with them back in the day, Sean? Honestly, if you can name one.
Power supplies.
Power supplies. Okay.
Yeah, the bad power supplies.
Every damn time one came through the shop, it was one of the, it was one of the ones that looked like the weird shape like that, the big fat base on the bottom.
Yeah.
They brought it. The customer bringing them in like power supply. They're like, what? It doesn't turn on. Yeah, how'd you know? I'm like typing already.
There's one model that had 90-degree facing speakers.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just like that.
They weren't straight. Not that particular one, but there was one that had instead of the speakers, they were built in.
It was made to go like in the back corner. It was like this weird L-shaped thing.
Yeah.
It was kind of circular, had a circular base.
Yeah.
Yes.
1 in 6 probably that we would sell. I came back and I had to fix it within 3-4 weeks, sometimes a month.
Yeah.
Mike, do you ever find any AST?
Not a one.
Wow.
So far, not a single AST. Not a one. But
They made very good servers back in the day.
No, I'm looking. I look. There's so many things I want. I would love to get an AST. I would love to get an AST.
Bravos.
Sorry?
What was that?
AST Bravos.
Yeah.
I thought they were pretty good.
Yeah.
I was pretty impressed with the I can't remember what it was, a 286 AST server that had a feature where you plug in a phone line. So if there's an error with memory or something, it actually would call them up and they could just ship you the parts. It's like, wow. Like that was like new back then. It's like,
wow.
The call home feature was, wow, that was pretty cool.
But
It's
then
pretty cool, but it makes me wonder. It's like, if you have a feature like that, I would just be like, that's neat, but how often does it have to use this?
You never used it once, but
Well, that's good.
but the thing is because there were critical servers at the time for what they were doing, and there were file servers actually, and we needed them up and running. So it would just, if it had a memory problem or one of the drives was failing, it would actually send a call out to them. And the next day, some guy would show up and say, "Here, you got parts for your computer." It's like, oh, okay.
I think that could be like
Just
one of the earliest managed service provider functions I've heard of. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's really good.
Yeah. I had an AST monitor once. I bought it separate. That's a random thought. But of course, my mom threw it
This
out.
is the most random show you've ever been on.
On the internet.
All right.
Well, if you want to talk about first computers, my first computer was a programmable Casio calculator with 2 megabytes of RAM and one, I think, 16-digit LED display. And you could program blackjack on it if you wanted, or you could do, work on it, but I could program blackjack on it. So
I was going to say, be careful. That's still Joe's daily driver.
I always wanted one of the one of the Radio Shack, the flat ones, the TR, whatever the heck it's called.
Yeah,
100?
100s?
Yes. One guy in college had one. And I'm like, oh my God, he could connect to the internet.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's how old I am.
It's pretty damn
Wow.
old, Mike.
That's funny.
Oh yeah, the Model 100. Yeah, Eric's right. Yeah, Eric. Yep. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yep.
RetroTech Chris asked, have I ever found any Gateway 2000 systems at the yard? I just happen to have one right here that I found at the yard.
Specifically,
Chris.
that's a Gateway. That's not a Gateway 2000.
Oh, okay. One.
Nice.
One.
Nice.
I found two. Okay. One that I recovered.
Two Gateways. Ha ha ha.
One Gateway 2000, and it was a G180. So it was a Pentium Pro 180 that I restored and refurbished. The video is on my channel. I took it from yuck to Shinola and overclocked it to 200 because, you know, the P Pros overclock. All you have to do is hit a jumper. So that I found, and I did find one other Gateway 2000, but it was just a rusted wreck. I think it had been in a home fire. I do find a lot of computers that wound up having been in fires. The thing about the home insurance biz is if anything smells like soot, they'll let you throw it away and you can buy new. So I do find a lot of older computers that are very sooty and smoky. That are thrown away.
Okay, just go to Justin's house. Just go to Justin's house and he's got a big vat of ultrasonic cleaner. Just stick all of the machines you bought in there and just do it all.
Dump them
Yeah.
right in.
I mean, or you can just wipe them down.
Yeah.
I don't mind if they stink, but I did well, Tim here, he says years ago he was shocked to find Gateway made servers. So the Pentium Pro I found, they call it the Family PC. It even had a little sticker on it that said Gateway Family PC. I think there was a time when the before Pentium 2, and I think even before Pentium MMX, when they were marketing the Pentium Pros as regular consumer grade computers, even though they ran 16-bit programs like crap, right? We all know that.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Interesting. But yeah, I did find two Gateway 2000s. Yeah, this is just a Gateway. You are absolutely correct. I love being corrected in public.
Cool. Mike, let me ask you this. If people want to see some of these really cool finds that you've been making, how can they find you on social medias, social medias, or the YubTubs?
So if you Google Uncle Mike Retro, you'll get my Twitter and you'll get my YouTube channel. I am the only Uncle Mike Retro out there. And I welcome all friends. And my channel is small enough. I just hit 2,000 subs the other day. I've only been running it for less than 2 years now, and I hit 2,000 subs.
Wow.
So I'm either on the right or wrong direction. It's like 90% of my subs have a 40-second attention span because I do specialize in the shorts. So they've probably subbed me and forgotten about me, and I'm in the lost list of 1,000 channels that they've subbed. But if you Google Uncle Mike Retro, you will find me, and I'm happy to have all new friends join me. Every week is a new Scrapyard adventure, at least one a week, guaranteed.
Cool.
Very cool.
Boom.
Yeah.
There I am. Did you Google Uncle Mike Retro?
I know, there he is.
Look.
There I am. Subscribe. I got another sub. I'm going to hit hey.
Wait, hang tight. Unsubscribe.
I just subscribed.
I have brought balance to the universe.
Oh, doggone it. I knew that was going to happen. Watch. This could be feast or famine. Because, you know, when you're a small channel, you're very aware holistically of those dips in subs.
That's true. And don't forget, YouTube is always telling you that you're doing a bad job.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how good you're doing. You're always doing a bad job.
That's a fact.
Yeah.
But we do it for the love.
Yeah. Do we want to go to our next segment here?
Yeah.
It's like, how about we go in kind of an order, like Joe down and then Snake around or something. But Joe, what you working on?
Too much. Seriously though. Yeah. So the big thing I've been working on lately is That thing that you can't see. No, seriously,
Oh.
the chips that I use for my replacement keyboard encoders for the Apple II and Apple III series
Pringles.
have gone the way of the dodo. They no longer exist. But Microchip has made a version of that uses the same core, the same pinout, the same frequency, and everything. And as a matter of fact, I've read the data sheet, and it looks like it's exactly the same chip with a different part number.
Nice.
Question mark? Don't know why. So I have one of those in. I need to do a test build and see if it works. And if it works, then I'll have chips again for that process. Other than that, what I'm going to be working on very soon is the Pumpkin Tosh. As those who follow me know, I built this just after spooky season last year. So I missed it for spooky season, but now spooky season's here. And our friend Eric's Edge is in the chat, who did a special project to allow me to put pictures up on here. I'm going to spookify this guy, the Pumpkin Tosh. I'm going to put like I don't know, jack-o'-lantern faces or something on it, and it's going to go in my front window.
Nice.
Outstairs, out on the street. So I will have a nice glowy tech jack-o'-lantern for my front window. I still won't hand out candy on the 31st, but that's a different thing.
Cool.
I should do that with mine. That green thing.
The Hulkintosh. What's the official
Yeah,
Marvel
Hulkintosh.
holiday? What is
You know
that?
what? I'm thinking that it works like the green monster from Ghostbusters.
Oh,
Slimer. Yeah.
Slimer.
Oh, that's great.
Okay, it was my idea first.
You could use Mac. What is it? It's MacVid, or what is that program where you can make the little clips? You can just have him like going down the hallway. Like that's
Yeah.
great. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, so I may do that. Yeah,
Slimer
good
Tosh.
idea.
Yeah.
Limintosh.
Slimer Tosh.
Uncle Mike, what
So-
you working on?
Right now, this is one of my garage sale finds. And this is an HP. It's a Slimline
Alright.
Desktop. I got it for $1. And right now it's it's an AMD 64 dual core. And what I plan to do is turn it into a multi-arcade machine computer. It has low pro, AGP, and PCIe. I'm going to put in a low pro video card, and I'm going to hook it up to my CRT television.
Yeah.
This is all in hopes that I can eventually create an arcade machine. So that's my latest project that I'm working on. The question now is, can I put an Athlon 2 in there? Because I think a quad core Athlon would work better than a dual core as far as arcade emulation. What do you guys think?
I would say yes.
Yeah. It depends
Yeah.
which games you're playing, though, right?
It does. If you play the more modern ones, yeah, they can really stutter. But
Yeah,
the
like
older ones,
I
like
built
Gauntlet,
one in the past. That was about maybe 10 years ago, and I had all the retro stuff like Pac-Man, Space Invaders, all those Miss Pac-Man, all those ones there. So they don't take a lot of power. But if you're playing stuff that's NES, what was it called, Geo, and
Neo
all
Geo, yeah.
all the newer ones, then you need more power.
Yeah, agreed. So I'm going to see if that'll take a quad core. If it doesn't, it's probably going back in the dumpster. More e-waste. I mean, you can't. Okay, so you can't rescue every puppy and every kitten, and you can't rescue every computer, and you shouldn't pretend you can.
Somebody
Because-
call Steve.
That is such a Scrooged take on this. Scrape them off. They'll just drag you down. You can't save them all.
I have a no-kill shelter here, especially for my Gateway and
I'm
Gateway
still
2000s.
I'm still in Carol Kane by your house to hit you with a toaster. It doesn't matter.
Let's send him Steve.
We're gonna get you. We're gonna get you converted here.
I'm like Bob Barker. Spay and neuter your computers, people. Don't let them reproduce.
delete the X copy command.
Exactly.
It's cool. Javier.
Oh, well, for the past 2 weeks, I've been working on monitor conversions. Remember those that I do, like this one?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So actually, I got one that's similar. I did this monitor. This is the monochrome monitor from Apple. I converted to LCD just like this one, and I did it for a museum for Mark Pekalski, I think his name is that. He's the one who did Penguin software for Apple II.
Yeah,
and he's gonna have a piece in the museum showing his software. So I did the conversion. I'm sending it tomorrow. Actually, it's packed already to the museum, and he's going to be showing a special version of Total Replay that only has Penguin software. So it's pretty cool. That's what I've been doing, and
Penguin Replay.
that's right. That's a nice name. And I've been doing this, guys.
Okay, you need to be big screen for that. Stand by.
look at these little baby joysticks.
So this is, yeah, you see, this is a Mac.
Is that a baby joystick? Or are you happy to see me?
He's
And this
barely
Apple
happy to
II.
see you.
But the funny thing about the Apple II, well, both, is that they actually work. They are real joysticks,
sweet.
and they will have buttons here. Actually, the buttons work.
Wow.
Oh, that is so cool.
That is
So-
slick.
I'm
That's really
about
neat.
to finish it, put in the cable, and they're gonna work with Apple II. So
So
that's what
what's
I've been
gonna,
working on.
so what's going to happen in like 50 years? We're going to find this stuff in the e-way saying people had small fingers back in the day.
Mhm.
We have so many jokes that we can have from this. But
Yeah.
yeah.
That's
Yeah,
cool.
for-
I'm looking forward to your K-Fest panel next year, where you're
That's
going to
right.
discuss the creation of these devices.
Minimizing it,
Nice.
minimalistic.
You should call them Lilliputian.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah. Your contribution to saving the environment using miniature, less electricity.
That's right. Less electricity. That's it. That's basically what I've been working on, and retro writing stuff from other people. But you know, cool.
And Javier, you did a video about that monitor conversion, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And also did a video on creating the feed, a short, talking about
Mhm.
shorts.
Yeah.
Recreating those feet. So that's another one that is good. Hopefully I get more traction on my channel.
JVHS asks in the chat, he said, Javier, if I sent you a IBM 5150 case, could you do the same conversion to it?
Yeah, most likely. Well, I need to measure and do that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, but hold on, because those are like CGA or something like that, isn't it?
It's like that huge, it's a case. It's like a huge.
Yeah.
computer case.
No, I don't have a problem with that, but the problem is the connect. What?
5151's a green screen.
Oh, okay, then yeah, no problem. Yeah, if it's composite, no problem.
Does UPS still come to
No,
your
it's not
house?
composite.
Okay.
MDA.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, I can put a screen, but I don't know how to connect it to an IBM. So
You could
That's
probably use like a RGB to HDMI. Just
Okay.
convert it out. Yeah, because that'll do like TTL, MGA, CGA, EGA. Maybe not EGA, but definitely CGA, MGA.
I'm getting interested. I saw a thing in Thinker Different.
Mhm.
Somebody's doing a conversion for the Mac 512 or the Macs.
Mhm.
They put an LCD and they put like a round plastic acrylic, so it looks like the real thing.
Oh,
I'm
cool.
just I like to see that, but I'm concerned because I've done that before, and the problem with that is that you get a lot of reflection, and also you cannot read very well the screen. So I would like to see that.
Sure.
Maybe he sold it.
Maybe.
Yep.
Sean.
Yeah. Sean.
It's kind of surprising we're talking about gateways tonight, because my project for this week is to refurbish a gateway 500 megahertz Pentium 3 with a Tabor 3 motherboard. And that was one of my favorite machines that I worked on back in the day. So I've had this one for a long time. I've broke it out because I had this urge to play Star Trek Voyager Elite Force.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
It was really fun for me. I really enjoyed it. And that was the machine I played it on. So Anyway, I've been reconditioning it. Somewhere it got some water in it, and there's some rust. So I've been cleaning that out. But the motherboard's clean. All the cards are clean. Everything's working well. So, but I think I'm gonna do some upgrades while I'm in there. It's got ATA 33. I think I'm gonna upgrade it to 66 at least, or maybe 100, but or get it converted over to some sort of solid state memory instead of spinning hard drives.
Mm-hmm.
And but I've been having a lot of fun playing with it again. It's like an old friend. It's been stored forever, and I pulled it out, and it had barely yellowed any on the front. It was my multimedia machine where I had a burner, a DVD player, LS120, zip disk, 3.5 inch. I mean, I had everything but a 5 1/4 drive on it, and so it's just pulling out an old friend and playing with it again.
I love hearing stories about people recreating those kind of machines from when they were coming up. That it perfectly captures kind of that experience, especially like Apple II and Mac stuff. It's kind of like that was the configuration. Everybody got the same thing, but like those but PCs and stuff with like all of like that customization, it's just trying to make all the little tumblers align is sometimes really tough. How long is it taking you to kind of get this all put together?
Oh, I just got it out of the box again 4 days ago, and I've spent probably a good solid 2 days on it. Part of today, this morning, I was just make sure it's really clean. I pulled the board out during the inspection on the capacitors to make sure they're looking for anything bubbling or leaking, and nothing's messed up yet. So I'm gonna work with it. I'm not gonna recap it until I have to. But I've tested all the drives. I've reloaded the OS. I'm trying to decide whether I want to go in there and grind out and paint over the rust or not. It's not a lot, and it's in an awkward place, but it's there. I know about it, so I'm just waiting to see how OCD I do get about it.
That sounds like a cool project, man. You should document any of that. Like if you do get in to painting and things like that, and share it with us.
Well, when I was a kid, I worked in a body shop, and I see that rust, and I go, I just need to test. I just need to grind that down, put some Bondo on there, and paint it.
Yeah.
Some Bondo. Steel wool and Brasso will take care of you. What kind of video you think you're going to put in that? Because you're talking a P3 slot 1, obviously, right? A 500.
What's in there now is a TNT2 16 megabyte card.
Okay, it's period correct.
Yeah, that's the card it came with.
Okay,
and of course it's got the crystal sound.
Yep.
And it's got the standard gateway build for the day. I'm trying to remember. The only thing that's weird about it is I got a pair of Netgear FA310s, which were, they were the bomb back in the day. I don't think I'm going to keep those in there. I had 2 of them in there because I was using it as a file server for a while, and I had a LAN segment. Anyway, that as far as PCs go, that's my project. It's a lot of fun.
I like it. Mad respect.
I'm running Windows 2000 on it right now, Pro. So going back to that interface was kind of jarring.
Yeah. After decades of improvements and refinements, yeah. It's like, how did I used to do this? Oh my gosh.
The Tabor series of boards are really that's a good series. I mean, they're not really for overclocking or doing crazy things with, but they're pretty solid. I wish I had more of them.
No, they're great because those are the ones where you can probably take it up to a clock mode. It'll do 66 or 100, right? And you can take it up to what?
800, I believe.
Okay, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of headroom in there.
Yep.
Nice.
I miss the days you can just change the crystal on your board and off you go. Back in
So
the
if you-
AST XT days, yeah, you could do that. Just pull out the crystal and buy a new one and pop it in there. Your turbo machine.
Mhm.
I mean, I wouldn't mind getting a couple more just so I could have like a a Star Trek Elite Four or a Voyager Elite Force LAN party, and because that's the fun,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I love Elite Force. I think Elite Force 2 it changed some stuff, and I don't know if it's necessarily a better game, but I know that like they kind of patched up some of the net code and all that to kind of for like non-LAN parties where you could actually like internet games and stuff.
Yeah,
But I think sorry.
Yeah, I agree. The original Elite Force with the holo match was superior to me. So
What
even the
engine?
graphics.
What engine was that? Was that Quake 2.3 or was that the ultimate Unreal Tournament engine?
I don't
Maybe it was
remember.
Unreal.
I want to say Unreal. but-
Unreal.
I bet it wasn't real. Okay, yeah.
No, I think I'm wrong. I think it's. Let me check.
Yeah, I was just Elite Force 2 uses ID Tech 3. So that's the Quake 3 engine.
So it is Quake 3. Okay.
But I don't know about part 1. But probably because it was a pretty quick turnaround between those two games.
Yes.
It was like, here's some patches and some additional hollow match levels and all that. I do remember that somebody like playing on the bridge of the Enterprise and you like step on the tricorder and it would like launch you.
Yeah.
So some really great maps back in the day. That's a good one. Rudy, what you working on?
Well, I watched Eric's Edge video on his TI-99, and I thought, hey, wait a minute, I think I have a TI-99. So I went down. I found my TI-99. It's like, yay! But no, boo, because I don't have the video cable that plugs into here, so I can get video.
That's very easy to make.
So I'm not going to make that. That's got that round connector. It's a big pain in the ass to solder. So I said, screw that. So I made my own composite mod.
Oh yeah.
Oh, nice.
So
That's really cool.
Sorry, it's not really coming out. There you go.
Yeah.
So what I've
Wait,
done.
what's that connector on the other end? Wait, hold that back up again, please.
Here?
That's the joystick.
Other side, other end. Oh, okay,
Power
sorry. Yeah,
and,
it just that 9-pin, that
keyboard
D9.
and joystick.
Sorry, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the joystick. That's
Yep.
the power.
Okay.
Nice.
So I thought, well, when I put a video, so I'm actually editing the video now for this will be coming out soon. But I thought it was kind of fun. It's not hard to do, and now you can have two monitors. And so if apparently you can plug a Commodore 64 cable in it, you'll get video but no audio. So you could use that cable if you have one lying around and plug it to one monitor and then plug the composite into another monitor. So if you're playing with your friend, you both have a monitor in front of each other as opposed to having to both kind of like lean over to see the screen, right?
Yeah.
Remember in the day, monitors were like, not very big and everybody kind of like, okay, move over. It's my turn to play or move over, This way you can have both monitors displaying the same thing. And you can both sit comfortably and play. And I thought it was kind of fun. So I'm putting a video together on that.
That's really cool.
No other repairs. So that's it.
Way cool. What's that big box called that had the floppy drives and all the card interfaces?
PV.
The PEB.
Yeah.
Virtual expansion box. Bus.
Yeah.
Javier, don't you have one?
Peripheral. No, I don't have one. I have the mini one.
The voice.
Yeah, because the big one is too bulky.
Yeah.
Joe, you have one, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I thought someone had
it. Taylor and Amy just did like a video about one the other day and just kind of showing off and some of the features and stuff. And then I watched Eric's video as well. It just seems like there's been a lot of TI-99 kind of content coming through the community recently.
Great machine, yeah.
Yeah. Great audio, that's for sure.
Yeah.
That was in the Sears wish list catalog. The TI-99.
What's the first
4A.
16-bit machine?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I wanted one so bad.
Very cool. Joe, would you make me big? Thanks. Hey, I just wanted to talk to you about a couple of neat things that I've been going through recently. A couple weeks ago, when everybody was coming back down from Vintage Computer Festival Midwest, along the lines of our special guest, Uncle Mike, today, we went to Laclade Computer Trading Company in St. Louis. It was Mac 84 and I. And we just kind of went through and looked at all the neat stuff they have. And they have like they have a Commodore Colt, and they've got some other stuff that's kind of in their like display area of stuff that they sell. But then they also have like all this, if you can just imagine a cable, they probably have it. They probably have the cable that Rudy needs there. But we just went through and just kind of took a look at all the stuff. And what these guys do is they try to keep things out of the landfill kind of as much as they can. People will come and donate things to them. This is not the best skip through on this, but
Do they have Dell?
Yeah, they have those Dell machines. You buy it, you go right out in the parking lot and just yeet it off into the neighbor's yard.
And I'll be there to pick it up.
Yeah, but no, they've got a lot of those small form factor business machines and stuff. And if you've got a relative or somebody that's like, I don't really need anything fancy, I just want to run Windows 10 and get on the internet, or have a patched operating system, put Linux on it, do whatever you want to do.
Did you just call it Linux?
Huh? Linux? What?
Linux.
No, it's Linux because it's Linus.
Yeah,
Linus Torvalds.
There was a debate on that. He actually cleared up. It's Linux.
It's Linux. There's an actual clip of him saying it.
Yes,
it is. Do they have a clip of him saying thingamaboo?
No, but I think that I might have that.
But they've got all kinds of neat stuff there, just kind of cool stuff and friendly staff that'll help you out. So if you're in the St. Louis area, they have all manner of just neat and goofy things you can go in there and check out. But what I've really been working on, other than trying to keep machines out of the landfill, is there was an update with the Blue SCSI project where now there is an app for 68K Macintoshes where you can actually just insert images like on the fly. So you don't have to use emulation anymore. You can actually, on your classic Mac, download an image. You can go out, you can run Eric's new program and just insert it into the HDA file and reboot the Mac, and there's your stuff. So it has never been simpler to set up kind of some of these old Macintoshes to do neat and amazing things. Of course, you could still use emulation if you want to. You can use a Windows box, you can use a Mac or whatever. But this is just a cool new toy. And then you can actually go out to his GitHub and you can download it and play around with it. It's in beta right now, so you might have to. So you might have to put up with a little bit of rough edges, but Eric's been working on it a good long time. So another neat thing is there's another community project that's called Disc Jockey, where you can actually basically just create like custom image files and things like that for like your raw SCSI, for your blue SCSI, anything that uses that same kind of format. You can even make custom ones for use on emulators and everything. But the neat thing is the beta version that is just now out of Disc Jockey, and you can go out to tinkerdifferent.com to learn more information. The new version actually allows you to kind of build custom HDA files or custom image files that might have something like ProDOS partitions. So you can actually go through and that's a problem on these Macs. So if you have an Apple IIe option card, which is like I talk about that thing all the damn time, but one of the problems is if you use a Mac to create your ProDOS partitions, they're like 1 kilobyte smaller than like a real one that you would make on a Mac. And I think it's because somebody either did this on a Monday or a Friday and it just was never fixed and nobody cared, so it just never got fixed. Well, this addresses that, because I've been working since K-Fest to put together a video about using like a Apple II with a SCSI card and a blue SCSI to basically generate like a 4-partition ProDOS HDA, and then you could take it into your Mac, and then you can add a Mac partition and add the Mac partition driver and things like that, so it becomes bootable on your Mac. And then you would have 4 correctly sized 32 megabyte, which is the limit of what the utility will create. So you would have 4 partitions. And it was really neat. And then Eric was like, oh yeah, hey, by the way, we're working on I'm working with One Geek Army to create a thing that basically negates all your hard work, and I was super excited about that. And there's a beta version out there, and if you reach out to One Geek Army, you can get a download of that early. But it basically hours and hours of collecting footage and editing and stuff is right in the shitter. So that's it for me.
Nice. Very nice.
Very impressive.
Cool.
Before we continue, Eric had a question at the very beginning of the stream.
Yes.
Maybe
The
we
answer
should-
the answer is B.
He
Joe,
just popped
can
it
you
in
read
there again to make it easy for us. There it is.
There you
I
go.
was about ready to just read it because I had typed it out. I tried to load a program over the cassette interface to my Apple IIe and nothing happened. Load it just sits there. Is there a simple way to test that the audio input is working, like a basic program? And then he comments, bees.
Bees.
And Rod had the right answer.
Oh, did I have the correct answer? What was the
Yeah.
correct answer?
He said, I always test levels with ADT Pro.
It's pretty handy.
So there you go, Eric. Give that a try and let us know.
Yeah, you can use ADT Pro. You can actually like set it up on your PC and just start beaming. And if your input is correct, then your output's correct. But if you're using like a real cassette, isn't like the test utility suite for, or like that education group put out the
Mech.
flaking on the name? Yes.
Mech.
Doesn't the Mech computer tester also have like a audio levels thing or something like that built in? I thought maybe not. That might be the other side to check. But ADT Pro is pretty good for figuring out your levels on things.
Volume and tone were always voodoo for. I mean, once you had it dialed in, great. But once you do have it dialed in, make sure you take a magic marker and mark it.
Hot knobs.
Mark where the pot is, because you don't have to go through the trouble of trying to reset it again.
Mm-hmm.
I about killed my cousin back when I used to load a cassette tape on my Apple II all the time. He borrowed my tape player to make a mixtape for his girlfriend and screwed up my settings, and I learned the hard way that I should have used the magic marker trick.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, get it dialed in and then murder anybody that tries to break it.
Basically it, yes. So what's next on the agenda?
Toys. What's the coolest new toy we've each gotten recently? Mike, go.
Okay, so I've got.
Can't hear you. Your mic's not down.
Oh my God, a boom mic. So something I've always needed, always wanted, but had never found in my Scrapyard ventures is this Voodoo 3.
Mhm.
And it's not only a Voodoo 3000, it is a Gateway branded Voodoo 3000. And that allows me basically, I have now the full gamut of period correct video cards, everything from an old Western Digital Paradise card, 16-bit ISA, all the way through, whatever's current in the market. This was the linchpin. This was the last thing. Picked it up at VCF Midwest. Thank you very much.
Nice.
I know. Didn't get a picture with Mike. He came and said hello and then just immediately disappeared.
I ran in this. I know. I apologize for that. I Mac'd with LGR for a little bit, and then I found some things.
Wait, you Mac'd? M-A-C Mac?
Oh, I'm that old. I was Macking. I was, doing the selfie thing. Oh, kind of a fanboy with LGR.
Yeah.
Before
I was just
retro.
making sure that I'm from the same 1990s that you are.
Yeah,
So-
I was Macking with the camera with LGR for a little bit, and it was like being in the presence of a deity. I found some really good finds, and I was loading up the car, and I gave up my parking spot, and I was unable to get a parking spot again. So I was basically out for the rest of Saturday. Let me tell you, friends, if you go to any of the VCFs, the Midwest one, you have to get there 3 hours beforehand to get parking. There is no parking. none. But
And that's actually something that came up. If you watch LGR's video about the event,
Yeah.
he
said
talks
that.
about the parking situation and
was
stuff.
horrible.
But here's the deal: last year, VCF Midwest, there was maybe a couple hundred people there, and this year they had like 2,000 people there.
Yep.
So that is what a free event will drag in.
Yes.
Especially when people want to come in and they want to see like these YouTube celebrities,
Right.
and also me.
I thought they were to see Eric, but I wasn't too sure.
Oh yeah, Eric. Yeah, it was weird. He was giving beard trimmings to everybody, like all show. And by the time he looked like a baby butt. He gave away all his beard.
Oh, that was weird. But yeah, the parking was horrible. Chicago, the suburbs of Chicago on the west side, it's a nice part of town. People are really nice to Chicago pizza, especially what was that? Lou, help me, Lou
Ferrigno?
Lou Ferrigno, the original Hulk. Lou Malnati's Chicago style pizza is the best. But once I gave up that parking spot, I was screwed. So yeah.
There was a lot of people that were staying at the hotel that were utilizing Uber so that they would not lose their spot at the hotel. So, but it was front and back. It was totally packed. And there were people parked out on the street, and right next door, there's some sort of like transit authority or like roads crew building or something like that. And they were out there just like, you can't park here. You can't park here. And it's like, okay, we get it, but I'm parked on top of an infant. You're gonna have to cut me some slack here. I gotta hold on. So yeah, it was an amazing show. It was an amazing show. But yeah, a lot of people got kind of cut out because they couldn't get parked or whatnot. So I think they're talking about making some changes next year. They want to try to keep the show free, so it might end up at a different venue somewhere. Or my suggestion was extended a day. Just
Mondays are hard.
It's gonna be hard.
But you know what's less hard? Thursdays.
Yes.
Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Your setup is on Thursday, then you got a Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Right.
Because the amount of people that were there on Sunday was greatly reduced from Saturday. But if you take the pressure off of like having where it's because I did a panel there with Mac 84 about trying to like collect an old Macs and stuff like that. And it was just like, it was insane. Like the competition to get a slot, the competition to get a table, the competition to get into the hotel, the host hotel. And I mean, it's like, it's not a very fancy venue. So the price is right for the event to keep it free. But at the same time, it's like, something's got to give. So you either make your event longer to take the pressure off of people to get there, to experience things, or you move to a bigger venue that's going to cost you money, and then you're going to have to start charging for your event.
Well, did you have to pay for your table, Ron? I was never clear on that.
No, but technically yes. But the way that it's worked out is you have to make donations to the auction, or you are highly encouraged to make like some kind of cash donation to the event. Now, this is not written down, but this is just sort of the vibe of the show, is that you want to. Because it's largely funded through PayPal donations, cash donations, day of the event, cash check, whatever, Venmo, blah. But and then people that donate things to the auction. And in last year when I was there, because it was the first year back after I think a 2-year hiatus, the prices were low on the auction stuff. And I think it's because people didn't maybe realize that it's like, be generous because this is what funds things for next year.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I donated like a couple of G5 iMacs. I donated like a G4 Silver Door and some other stuff. And some of those things went for okay money. And some of those things went for like $10. And it's like, you never exactly know your audience. But but that's the whole thing, is you make generous donations to either in cash or in equipment.
And I'm not trying to beat up the Vintage Computer Fest, but Uncle Mike's got better equipment he could put on a table and sell for a reasonable price than some of the junk they were pawning off on people who are probably just trying to build old PC compatibles. I'll be honest with you.
I will tell you though that part of the audience that this event brings in are people that want to buy something broken because they want to fix it. And that is because I went by a lot of tables and I was like, am I really going to pay this for a compact 386 that I know is all EISA cards and Doom? No, I wouldn't. But somebody that's like a diehard compact person that just wants to strip it apart and use it to fix something else, then it might be worth it for them. But I mean, there were a few turnkey things there, but you can get those turnkey king stuff everywhere.
Yeah, see, I'm being a snob. I'm being a scrapping snob, and I apologize for that. But
you can feel however you want. You don't have to listen to me. I'm full of shit. Have you not watched the show?
I'm not gonna answer that question. I will not be baited by Ron. Maybe next year. My wife said she would come and help me do a table. Maybe I'll help you donate an appropriate amount and take a third of your table.
Yeah.
We'll have a Mac
I know that people are I had a table this year, and it was basically just like sort of YouTube friends community table. If you had something to sell, put it on the table. If you had something to promote, put it on the table. I probably sold a ton of stuff for other people over the weekend because I just happened to be standing there, and people would come by and they'd see Mac 84 standing there, and they're like, "Oh, can I get an autograph? Can I get my picture with you?"
Who's this guy? Who's this chump
exactly.
next to?
Exactly. So there was a little kid that came up and he was like, "Oh, I'm so excited to meet you guys." And I said, "Oh, that's really cool." And he's got a channel that's called Zeke the Geek. And I was it was really
him.
I was like, "Yeah, it's really cool to meet you too." And he goes, "No, this guy."
Yeah.
And I was like,
"Shut up, you."
Yeah, it was like a real W.C. Fields moment. Kid. No, but real sweet kid. But no, he was, I guess, like a big fan of like Steve. So we sat there and answered questions. And there's a bunch of funny pictures that Garth Beagle took. But somehow when he took all the pictures, Steve's looking like every picture, like he's like, "I want to murder you with my mind."
That's funny.
But they had like the most germane conversation anyway. So it's fun to get there.
I'm hoping that I'm planning on going. This is my first fest going to with my wife, and hopefully get a table. I'm hoping that the rest of the panel will be coming. We can have tables set up next to each other and then do a live retro repair roundup from there, like do an actual live stream live. It'd be kind of fun.
Yeah, it would be nice.
Mm-hmm.
That would be.
The panel stuff is really packed on Saturday. But Sunday stuff, it's a little more relaxed. There's nothing going on Friday because Friday is setup and like vendor check-in and all that type of stuff. So I really hope they consider doing an extra day, because an extra day would really make so many more opportunities for like classes and people to come in and share their stuff. And if some people are like, "Oh, I can only be there 2 days," well, guess what? Somebody else can be there the other 2 days and kind of shift those tables around and stuff. So it's kind of more like a TJ Maxx. It's never the same place twice.
They could also do like paid parking, so that you have parking slots assigned to you if you have a table. So you have a table, you get a parking spot, and you pay, and that money then goes towards
anything's possible
donations. So
yeah. I know they're doing their best to keep everything free. Yeah. We'll see how long that lasts.
Yeah,
there's a finite amount of that before it's finally kind of like, oh, you got to do something to kind of whatever. But yep.
Yeah.
Who's next?
Awesome.
I forgot. What are we even doing?
New toys.
New toys. Right.
Sean to show the toy also.
Yeah. Let's see Sean's new toy.
Well, cool toy.
Compact flash cards are all the rage these days. But back in the day, before we had compact flash, we had bubble RAM.
RAM cards.
Yeah, bubble drives. And somehow I've come up with like 10 of these things.
Wow.
Very cool.
Very cool.
Bubble RAM, very weird technology.
Well, the funny thing is these were so incredibly expensive back in the day. I'm having a hard time finding. I'm trying to understand, why do I have so many of them right now?
So you have all of them then ever made?
Well, I don't know if I got all of them, but I mean, these were like, $1,000 plus dollars. So, and I think they roughly hold the about the size of a floppy disk. So I'd have to double check that.
Are those battery backup? Do those have volatile memory? Or
Bubble is non-volatile.
that's right. That's
Yeah.
right. It's like okay. That's right. That's right.
Even as a non-compact flash compact flash card.
Nice.
Anyway, this is kind of a teaser for what's I'm going to show you the next time. So, anyway, bubble memory.
Nice.
Yeah, way cool.
The Apple II.
Complete with software and manual.
Oh,
Oh.
definitely complete.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Something fun to play with.
Sean, do you? Sorry, Ron, go ahead.
Oh no.
I was going to say, so Sean, do you scan the manuals, or are they available online, or do you care?
I believe this manual is available online already.
Okay.
I mean, so some other people have worked with these cards. To my knowledge, they're not ProDOS compatible. I could be wrong, but I think they're only made to work with DOS 3.3 and CPM.
Yeah. Neat.
Another thing that's weird is of the 10 cards that I have, there's 4 or 5 different revisions. So I'm amazed that back in the day, you just didn't see this card out in the wild. I mean, unless universities or companies were buying them up, you just never saw them in a home Apple II.
No.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, there they are.
Jebsy in the chat says, what purpose did these cards serve? Like a tiny amount of hard drive storage, booted Apple II, even there was attached drive, or
basically like an instant on Apple II. You wouldn't have to waste time waiting for your floppies to spin up or a hard drive.
That'd be good for BBSs.
Mm-hmm.
You can boot up your Apple II in 2 seconds.
So definitely kind of like industrial applications, all that. Like you need an always-on machine.
Yeah.
Like it's in, like you have a hatch and you've got a computer down in the hatch, and every like 109 minutes you got to like type in a code. I mean, you don't want to be loading stuff off of a floppy disk. You want that instantly on, so you can leave your fans of your show like at a cliffhanger at the end of the season.
Gotcha.
This was a lost joke for everybody at home. Okay.
It's like a Futurama joke. Yeah.
It wasn't lost.
It's a long walk.
It wasn't lost on me.
Pretty cool.
Rob,
Nice.
what about you? What's your?
Oh, what did I get? Oh yeah. I actually there was a kid locally who came up and was like, "Hey, I've got like 1 million of these these FD200 Mavicas, and he's got like some other ones." So
oh my god.
It's one of the Mavicas that take the floppiest, but it also takes the Sony memory stick.
Yeah.
Memory stick.
Yeah. So you get the best of both worlds, but it's really great. At the highest resolution, you could put 4 pictures on a floppy disk. but then the neat thing about these later models is that they actually have a 4x floppy drive. So it's very, very quick to write stuff to these. So Eric actually picked one of these up at VCF Midwest, and his ended up being dead. And so I found this local buyer that had like a whole bunch of these. So he's got like almost every model from the original kind of the FD7. I think there's one that's older than that, because there's one that's 100% a fixed lens camera. And then I think the FD7 has like an actual optical zoom. So picked up an FD7, picked up a couple of these. And I got to get one in the mail to Eric. So that was kind of a fun thing that I bought. And then also I got this from Javier, which I still need to get a proper monitor for it, but this is a Vid HD. So this is sort of a HDMI output for like your Apple II.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, word on the street is basically this is kind of like at a dead end, this project. But it is kind of neat, and there are a few games that were made that kind of take advantage of some of the special text modes that this takes advantage of. So this card may be one day a collector's item, but probably is just probably more going to be known as from the aspect of, man, this was so cool and it could have been cooler if only development would have continued. That's it.
Joe,
What'd you get?
Oh, yes. No, sorry. Been so busy controlling the buttons. Yeah, so most of my cool new stuff was stuff I picked up at Tandy Assembly yesterday, and then did a insanely long live stream yesterday around with that stuff and making a whole bunch of jokes and not actually getting anything done, but it was a chill stream, so it's just fine. Basically, high resolution video upgrade for the TRS-80 Model 4P. Also, the what's called the M3 SE or M4 PSE, the Model 3 system expander, which basically adds like Wi-Fi and serial and like mass storage and stuff, all that stuff to the 4P as well. Also on stream, I built that the replacement floppy drive controller for my Coco. So now I can actually read real floppy disks with the Cocos. So that's a cool thing. So those are my toys.
very good. Fun stream.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Who's next?
I guess I am.
Sure, go.
Okay. I didn't get a lot of stuff, but I got a new business card, or well, not a business. There are more cards I'm going to be giving away for when we go to the show next year. So it's going to have my YouTube channel and email address, all that stuff. And I got I'm not going to open it because it's a real big pain to put back in the tube, but it's a
Nice.
2 foot by 6 posters for the tables, and it's gonna.
Very nice.
It says "Level Up" with Rudy's Retro Intel, and then some blurbs and stuff. So I'm happy. It came out really good. The colors came out excellent on the card and on the poster. So I'm really excited about going next year. It was so much fun watching everybody's videos and having had a great time there. It's like, oh man, we gotta go. My wife goes, okay, let's pack up the truck and go. It's like, okay, great. So
Make her sign something.
yes.
So she agrees.
Yeah. She goes, it's only going to cost you a couple $100 on Amazon. It's like, all right.
Wow, this is a relatively prescient comment. Prescient?
Prescient.
Tim, the floppy controllers for the Cocos, if you're talking about the Coco controllers, there was an early version that was absolute junk. The part of the read write system was fully analog and was trimmed with trim pots and trim caps, and they fail, they go out of spec, and they just have massive problems. They also used an earlier revision of the floppy controller chip, which had some problems. So they did a revision of it later that was better, and then Ian Maverick super simplified that and created a modern version of it that just works. So that's the answer to your question. Anyway, continue.
You should always have a modern spare of an old analog.
Yes.
Yeah.
Have fun using the old stuff as long as you can, but if you have a modern backup that you keep around, you're ahead of the game.
Yeah, fully agree.
Yep.
Absolutely. Uncle Mike's Necro. I just saw that.
Mhm.
Oh, well, I'm trying to be in the spirit. I mean, I do pick out dead computers.
There you go.
A little ghoulish.
Cool. So Rudy and Ron, you didn't talk about your VGA splitter, but you talked about your camera.
Wait, what do I got to say? Oh, yeah, but no, that's the whole thing. Is that with Vid HD, I bought a VGA splitter, and I bought some other stuff to kind of for like retro streaming, but I thought that this would be more interesting. Sorry.
Gotcha. And Javier.
He did.
Something that
I just put it over there. I bought but I still didn't have it. I think I get it tomorrow. I bought a Darth Vader. It's really, really in bad shape. That's going to be a nice project. That's for my friend in Spain. He wanted one.
You can't retrowrite that, dude.
Maybe not. I retrowrited the keys, remember?
It'll be a stormtrooper then.
Hey, if you really want to retrobrite it, I have the exact spray paint required to make it to platinum. So all good.
Actually, no, actually, I need keys. It's missing 2 keys, so I've been looking for those keys.
3D
If
printer.
somebody has spare keys.
3D print it in ABS.
For what?
Put it
For
in
what?
a gas
Yeah.
tent with some acetone. It'll smooth out the rough edges. And
Maybe that's a very good idea. Very good idea. I
Mhm.
need somebody that created already the key. So I got to look for that.
What do you need a key for again? Say that one more time.
I'm missing the key number 1 and key number 3
For what?
for the Darth Vader Apple II.
Oh, right. Okay, sorry.
So yeah, they're black, so they're not like that common.
Right.
So most likely I'm gonna have to recreate them. Well, that's gonna be a nice, maybe a nice project, 3D printed. So we'll see.
That is the
I
thing
bought
now.
our spares, Rudy, by the way.
Sorry?
What are those?
Go
The
Tex.
K-Pro. I mean, yeah, the
Oh,
Go-Tex.
Gotex.
Yeah, there's so many different types. I'm trying to find the right one for my K-Pro, and I don't know which one I should get.
They all work. You're
They
fine.
all work? Okay, cool.
Yeah. There's long story short, there's a special firmware you can get that makes them work better. You just make sure you get it pre-flashed with that firmware, because flashing the firmware on it's a pain in the hind end, and then you're fine. I don't remember the name of the firmware. Get with me after, and I'll let you know.
You
I did
traitor.
talking about Gotex. I did this little thing. This is an Amiga 600, and this is a Gotex, and I got this little
That's it.
LED or whatever it's called to show
so you can see what you're loading.
what you're
Cool.
loading. So talking
Way
about Gotex. So that's it.
Cool.
I'm good.
Did we go through everybody?
Yep.
We did.
Great. Are we done?
Yeah, let's
ready
do
for
some.
bed.
Let's do some shameless self-promotion.
Great. My processor is either at 100% or running at 5 megahertz or something. My brain is gone today, so I apologize. What are we on?
Javier.
Yes.
Have a seat, young man. This class isn't over.
I'm looking for my promotion.
Okay. All right. Shamelessly self-promote yourself, Javier.
Here we go. So 8bts.com. I'm also on the Joystick Appreciation Society.
Mhm.
And of course my channel, Adventures of we gotta see the animation. Hold on.
Yeah, the button.
Yeah, I gotta see the animation because look at this. Look at my little thing over here.
Yeah.
It's animated. Oh yeah. So
That's cute.
go and visit me.
Nice.
Adventure in Retro Computing.
Do the stickers do that in real life?
I'm working on that.
I think all you have to do is smear a thin coat of LSD on every sticker, and then
White powder.
Ron has his solutions for everything. He's awesome. Yes.
Some acid.
So 8BTs, and go to my channel, subscribe, and say hello, and comment a lot because I like to talk to people. And let's see if I can reach some good numbers like you guys.
sweet.
Thanks.
Sean.
I don't have my own site yet, so I'm going to pimp something that's near and dear to me. I encourage everyone to go to kansasfest.org and add it to your, if you haven't been there already, try to make it, add it to your bucket list if you can, to come out to spend a week with some rabid Apple II fans.
Awesome.
Kansas Fest is the best.
It is.
Last year was my first year, and it was so amazing. I had such an amazing time. Like, everybody was so nice and wanted to like introduce themselves and get to know you, and it's been really cool because I had no idea how many people came to Kansas Fest that go to everything else, because I was walking around Vintage Computer Festival Midwest and ran into Sark. Like, I was like, what are you doing here? He goes, I'm always here. And I was like, fair enough.
I was Jerry and Retro Bar over there.
Yeah.
There's a lot of cool people
Rose
over
and his wife.
Yeah. Stavros was there. I got a picture with them. Yeah.
Last year,
Stavros, Ohio represent.
represent. I went. I did a virtual last year, and it was such a great time. It's like I definitely want to go actually in person, but it was it was my first time. I was like, wow, this is awesome. I took some times off work, and I thought, awesome. It was just great. I just nerded out on the retro stuff. Amazing.
My advice though is if you get to the garage giveaway, what you want to do is like imagine that this is Javier's leg, and then this is your leg with a foot on it. Like kicking him.
Yes.
And his leg, when his leg does this, then he'll be behind you as you go up to get your items.
Right. Because I heard he takes stuff.
He does. He does. He relies on your Midwest kindness.
That's right.
Watch out.
I'm Florida man. So
What's he gonna do with a Canadian? I don't know.
No mercy.
Words.
He'll take your stuff and then you go buy him Tim Hortons.
That's right.
Give him some Canadian Tire money for that.
Kansas Fest is only 288 days away, so start making plans now.
Right around the corner.
Yep. I just got to see how long it takes to drive there.
Not very long.
4 days for me.
4 days?
Oh, yeah, Canadians are welcome. Yeah.
Oh, thanks.
Are you sure?
We've got a few already that we've opened the doors for, you know.
Yeah, we got a lot of Canadians.
Well, I think part of it is that the retro community, like buying or finding stuff here, is way more difficult than the U.S. It seems like, everyone says, "Oh, I just picked up 10 Apple IIes, and I just got 5 Macintosh SC30s," and it's like, where are you finding all this stuff? Because we don't really have it here. So the only way to really get it is either you pay crazy money through eBay, or you go down to one of these festivals and pick stuff up. Yeah.
Well, that's because from what I remember, the '80s didn't come to Canada until the '90s.
Yeah, that's why my first computer was an Apple II Plus clone. We just couldn't get the 2Es up here. They weren't. It's like, no, not going to Canada. Although I do have an Apple. Talk about this off topic real quick. I do have an Apple IIe that was only sold in Canada for Quebec, which had a switch on the bottom that does French and English characters.
Yeah, I got a couple of those.
So it's like, why would they do that? But anyways, Canadians.
Well, they had to because the French the
school board
language laws.
Yeah.
You had to be able to speak it. You had your business had to have the sign in French. Same thing with the computers,
Yeah.
You were required by law to watch Muzzy.
Muzzy?
Now that's an esoteric joke.
Yes.
Yes. Muzzy.
What's that French cartoon with that bald-headed boy?
That's Caillou.
Caillou.
That's Caillou.
That's the
That's all over. That's all over American TV too.
Yeah.
But
That's
no, Muzzy is it's like mice. They're like mice people, and it's a French cartoon. Or actually, it was dubbed in a bunch of European.
Muzzy in Gondoland.
Hmm?
Muzzy in Gondoland.
Cool. I didn't know, but it was dubbed into a bunch of different languages and it had English subtitles, but they sold it where it was like, oh, your kids can learn French by reading English. Whatever. Yeah. But the little kids on there were like, "Je suis hungry." It's like, oh my gosh, they'll be ordering at a restaurant with cloth napkins in no time.
So who's next? Ron.
Sorry.
Self-promotion.
Sorry. I guess because I want to be like everybody else, I made one of these goofy ass things. You probably saw it like bleeping and blooping as I tweaked it during the show. But yeah, you can find me on the Twitters at Ron's Comp Vids. You can also watch Joe as he makes his like track around the screen like a really terrible ellipse command in BASIC. You can also find me on the YubTubs, Ron's computer videos, and I'm conceivably other places. You can also check out my. I have a LinkedIn, or not LinkedIn, but like a link tree. So it's Linktree/Ron McAdams, and I got all kinds of links out there: IMDb stuff, Patreon, yada yada. So that's it.
Rudy.
I'm Rudy from Rudy's Retro Intel. I have a YouTube channel with the same name. Go figure. I only do email, so it's Retro Intel DIY.
It's really retro.
So I'm going retro. Wait till my BBS opens up, then it'll really be crazy.
He only uses Pine.
You can send me a self-addressed stamped envelope.
Yeah.
Hi, everybody. I'm Joe from Joe's Computer Museum. You can find me at Museum Joe on the Twitters, where I talk about things that are rarely ever have anything to do with the computers because I'm weird. You can also follow me on YouTube. Just go look for Joe's Computer Museum on YouTube, where I do mostly these days live streams, but occasionally I do a pre-scripted video where I put together old computers and laugh at the shenanigans that ensue. I also have a silly little website called jcm-1.com, where you can get certain repair parts and reproduction items for your classic 8-bit computers. You can also get wonderful Blue SCSI emulators for your Macs and your Amigas and a whole bunch of other stuff. So check it out. And last, but certainly not least, our wonderful guest, Uncle
Mike Necro. All right. I'm Uncle Mike. I have a YouTube channel and a Twitter, and you can find me at Uncle Mike Retro if you Google me. I do YouTube Shorts primarily. I do Scrapyard finds, looking for anything that's in the dumpster that's worth taking home. I do have a long video that I'm started working on, and that's a retro video capture how-to using the StarTech USB 3 device and OSB Studio. The ins and outs of doing that for beginners. So, and thanks for having me, Joe. It's been a blast.
Yeah.
I mean that.
Boom! It exploded.
Your head went like that.
Blew his hat right off. Actually, hey, if you've been paying attention during the show, people have slowly been changing their names to Halloween themed things. Sean did not. He may not be watching the private chat, but I thought about a couple of things. The pitch, I think my strongest one is A2 Phantasm.
Oh,
nice.
That was a good movie.
I used my editor privileges to change it.
There you go. I said A2 Fanatic, but that was too close. That wasn't
that's good.
Halloweeny enough.
Halloweeny.
It's a word. Look it up.
Oh, and Halloweeny. Yeah.
Sounds funny. Sounds funny. Yeah, there you go. That was easy.
Very cool.
All righty. Well, that is Retro Repair Roundup episode number 20. Thank you all who stopped by in the chat and to watch tonight. You are the reason why we are here. And in addition, we'd like to thank Uncle Mike and with Uncle Mike's Necro.
Joe words make good.
Today. Too much alcohol.
You're speaking very clearly.
Anyway, yep, that's it for tonight. Thank you all for stopping by. Remember to lasso that like button and stirrup kick the subscribe button.
Push it.
Wait, did you say lasso the likes and what is
stirrup,
the
thing? Spur.
Yeah,
that's the thing.
Wow.
Yeah. No.
Joe,
Wow.
No, you need to go to bed.
We were going to end on such a high note. Now this.
Anyway, and be sure to catch us on our next episode in 2 weeks, October 16th, 2022, which should happen as expected unless something blows up or something bad happens. So we'll see. That's it. See y'all later. Thanks, everybody. Bye.
Bye, everybody.